Okay, game 4 here, and the landmark on the board is Tower. So Tower says you get 1 victory point per card you have from an empty supply pile that is not green, that doesn't have any green in it. So it does mean that the curses from Hag will not affect your score once the curse pile is empty. So that's something to just take note of before you go picking up your Hag. I still want a Hag because it'll obstruct my opponent, the curses that is. So I think it's still worth getting the points. I mean, I don't really care about the points as much as I do about putting junk in his deck and making things more difficult for him. So I'm going to open with a Hag. He opts to open with a Raze on his $4 hand, so I'm not going for the Hag right away at least. And I'm going to open with a Raze, trying to get the trashing down. Why do I want trashing? Well, the only draw on the board is Tactician, rarely. Crossroads can draw, but you have to set that up with some green in your deck. And there's a little bit of help here for a double Tactician deck with the Courtier and the Nomad Camp. Courtier also has the Tactician pile itself with 2 subtypes or whatever. So you can name probably actions and coins with your Courtier if you play in a double Tactician style deck. So just to catch up here, my opponent has picked up a couple dungeons and he's going to start chaining them quite nicely. So he's going to have one in play the start of his turn for a long time actually. I picked up one recently, but here I am not going to pick up a second one. Instead I am going to pick up a silver because I'm angling for the Tactician type deck, right? Thinking a little bit long term, and I feel now, okay, I have a dungeon and I have a silver in my deck. I have a decent shot of getting to 5 here to start building the Tactician thing. He doesn't have a Hag as yet, so you know, if he's not obstructing me, I have no objections to that. I will go ahead and do my thing. However, now he does pick up a Hag, so I have to deal with those curses coming in. At least I have a single Raze. I'll probably need more to deal with the Hag's curses. So I'm going to pick up another dungeon here, and there's actually been a recent post on the forums by Preput about dungeon. He gave this one example. He ran some simulations with it, and the numbers are quite shocking to me. Dungeon apparently appears to be a lot better than I gave it credit for. In his example, he showed that having a dungeon in play the start of your turn, every turn, is marginally better than adding a bunch of engine components to your deck. It increases your money output and the number of times you could play a key terminal, for example. I should probably just drop the link to that article down below so you could see for yourself what I'm talking about. But long story short, dungeon is real good for engines especially. So I'm getting junked quite heavily here because look, my opponent has been chaining his dungeons, right? So he could see his Hag nearly every turn, if not every turn at this point. So yeah, the point he made about playing a key terminal more often, you could kind of see it happening here. I mean, you know that is true, right? But I was surprised by the numbers. Anyways, you could have a look for yourself if you're interested. Second Raze for me here, I need to start cleaning up my deck. Look, another Hag comes in here. He has been chaining these dungeons religiously. Hopefully it'll fall apart at some point, but we'll see. I do have my Tactician, which is great news. I expect to be able to get to Border Village with my Tactician. I have a couple dungeons, so I should be able to sift enough things to get to 6. So one bad thing, we've been talking good things about the dungeon, but one bad thing with him playing a dungeon every turn is that not just a dungeon, but also Raze and the Hag is that it has been cutting into his economy in a big way. 5 for me is my first Courtier, so I'm making my first steps towards the double Tactician turn. So he's been cutting into his economy. He's been picking up 2 cost things very, very regularly here. I know the Razes aren't bad, but at some point you do want to get more expensive things like the Tactician and the Courtier. Border Village is an excellent addition to most decks. But because he's playing these dungeons every turn, here his chain is obstructed, I think, and the Raze followed by the Sea Hag, none of those do anything to his economy, or to help his economy rather. So he is a little bit behind on that. So he is ahead on the on junking me and on thinning, but I have a little bit more components than him. So here I am gonna think for a little bit and choose to take the gold and the coins here instead of just the action and the coins. I want the gold in my deck because I've been flooded with curses, so I need a bit of money, and since I only have the one tactician I can still make use of the gold. I'm not gonna get another tactician until I have 2 courtiers in my deck, so probably could make use of the gold, so I'm gonna take it now. And my opponent actually mixed up Noble Brigand with Nomad Camp, because sometimes this happens when you load the game, the art for the card doesn't load. So he probably just saw 4 cost and something like 2 words, one of which is an N, thought it was Noble Brigand, but it wasn't. And I offered to undo there because really that's just, terribly unfortunate. But he said no, he'll play with it as is. So we agreed to move on from there. I do come up with my 6, in fact I come up with my 8 for Border Village into Courtier and another Raze. So that's excellent news for my trashing. On the other hand, my opponent has a few Vagrants. I don't really find the Vagrants do all that. I mean, maybe he's going for the tower points with the Vagrants, not entirely sure. But he is still hurting a little bit on economy at this point in the game. Still playing his Raze and his Sea Hag. And he doesn't have, I don't think he even has a silver in his deck. He has the Nomad Camp now, which is a source of economy for him. So I'm able to play my tactician here, and now is where I'm going to get my second tactician. I mean, I already have the money in hand, so just to buy Border Village into Tactician and move on. My opponent knocks a Courtier off my deck, but it's whatever, because I have enough money already to just get the Tactician. That's all I wanted, right? So now I'm not going to take the gold, because I'm going to start playing double Tactician, so those goals will just get in the way of things. And I'm actually able to trash a couple of things out of my deck here and come up with enough money for Border Village into Tactician and another dungeon. Dungeons are going to be very key to making sure my double Tactician thing lasts for a very, very long time. So the Tactician and the dungeon here for me. I'm also kind of hedging with the dungeon. Maybe I could go after the dungeons and get some points off the top, for example, right? So one pile is out, we have to be aware of other piles, but doesn't seem to be in any danger of piling out just yet. No such danger. My opponent now kills his Sea Hag with the Raze and comes up with 5, and I believe here is where he goes for a Tactician. Yeah, he goes for a Tactician here, so he's now coming along on the Tactician road, probably looking to do something similar to what I'm setting up here. So yeah, there goes the Tactician, and he passes it over to me. Now I have to go set up my double Tactician thing, right? So first dungeon doesn't find it, second dungeon doesn't find it, but I get a couple of raises, and I say, you know what, I have the option to kill coppers here, or I can go look for my Tactician, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. So I keep 1 copper to trash that, because I figure looking 6 cards I could find that Tactician, right? Wrong. Nope, I have to go looking for it some more, so I think the dungeon gives me the best shot of doing that. Still nothing, so I have to crack the Raze. I can't use the Raze on the Border Village because then the Tactician won't trigger. It has one condition on Tactician, and that is you need to discard at least 1 card from your hand. So I have to pop the Raze, which I didn't like, given that I still had curses and coppers in my deck. I wanted to be able to get thin. And I finally find the Tactician and play it. Not playing the Border Village because I know the second Tactician is there and I don't want to draw both of them in one hand and maybe miss out on seeing the second one. because this one was so difficult to find. So yeah, that gold served me well. It gave me money to buy Border Village, and now it helped me find my tactician. Excellent news. So here, obviously calling the tactician first, then using the dungeon to discard. My opponent set his tactician in place, so he'll probably get to Border Village next turn, but at this point, I feel like I'm ahead, right? So I was behind on the thinning and the cursing, but ahead on the material, and that seems to be paying off at this point. So I'm able to see all the cards in my deck, and I am going to now be able to pick up another Border Village Courtier pair while having the Tactician in play, and things look real good for me right now. Things look real good for me. I think I've cleaned all the curses out from my deck. He still has one in his deck, which I found very surprising given with the frequency with which he was junking me in the middle game there. So here, my opponent, he has his Tactician turn, right? But I don't like what he bought on his Tactician here. He went ahead and he bought another Tactician, so he can't really make use of that other Tactician yet. He only has the Nomad Camp as a source of virtual coin. All his other money is locked up in treasures, and you can't play it if you're doing double Tactician. So I didn't quite like that purchase. I think the Courtier is obviously better, but I mean, makes the game easier for me, I feel, so I'm not gonna complain. I just need to go find a couple courtiers here, and I find all of them, so I'm just going to try as best as possible from here to manage playing all my courtiers as the most important thing, and sticking some dungeons in play. I think that's second most important, and then third, try to trash with Raze. So I have a lot of insurance in the deck right now. I have an estate I could pop with Raze, I have Razes I could pop. I still have my Sea Hag which I could pop with my Raze in case I can't find something critical. So the deck seems very good. It's very stable is what I mean by good there. And another Border Village Courtier pair and another dungeon. So I have 4 dungeons in the deck now. There should be absolutely no problem with finding all my courtiers here. Like I said, I just need to find the courtiers, right? I could use them for action coin, and have quite a strong turn. So now I'm up to $12 economy in my deck if I'm playing double Tactician. So here my opponent plays the Tactician and is just going to pick up another Vagrant. And with the 12 here, I was thinking about going for something like Province and Crossroads just to get a little bit more draw in my deck. I have held this estate back because the Crossroads is around, and I was thinking of picking it up just to get a little bit more draw. Because right now I'm relying solely on Tactician for draw, which will break at some point. If you put enough courtiers in your deck, you won't be able to play all of them. But so far so good on that front. Able to find all my courtiers here. The dungeon is going to get me through till the end, no questions there. And actually don't go for the province play. When you're ahead, just build. Why not build? No reason not to build. So I am going to buy a couple border villages and a couple courtiers, and that puts me at a potential of 18 coin next, which is a lot. Then I could go for double province crossroads, and that seems a lot stronger than picking up province on this turn. So also I have no problem with running the piles because I have most of the border villages and most of the courtiers. So if those piles do empty, I'll get a bunch of points off the tower. My opponent has to think about that as well, right? So he finally gets his tactician turn here, and he is going to pick up a border village and courtier, but that makes it tremendously easy for me to end the game. Actually, yeah, it does make it tremendously easy for me to end the game, because then I can buy the last 2 border villages and the last courtier with my $18. Don't need to go in for the double province play, just need to find all my courtiers, right? That's the issue. But that shouldn't be too hard given like all the raises and dungeons in my deck and whatnot. So just going to look for them, and I do find them, and that is how I close out the game here. So that is the fourth game for you here. Interesting approaches at the beginning. His dungeon setup was pretty nice in that he was able to play that Sea Hag quite a few times, even though he picked it up a little bit later than I did. However, the dungeon combination with the Raze and the Sea Hag held back his economy, and I think that ultimately hurt him here. Fortunately, I was able to get to 5 when I picked up the silver and the dungeon and whatnot, so everything worked out pretty smoothly for me here. And that is how it finishes up here. So I get a bunch of points off the tower just to close out the game, which is cool, you know, winning off landmark points. Alright, that is game 4, and I will see you in the next one.